Hi, welcome back to Niddy's Bonsai. Today we're just going to go back over the yew tree we did in a previous video. Really just going to have a look and see what we've got in here with the roots. Like I mentioned previously, if we have to, we'll do an air layer of this. It was really just playing around with a piece of nursery stock. I've done a few of these that I'm really just treating as kind of topiary cloud trees. So we'll show you around in another video the cloud trees that kind of inspired me to have a go at kind of creating some miniature versions of those. But this one I do want to treat as a bonsai if we can. So let's have a look, see what we've got in there. It's a bit of a mystery. You see these are just growing in these hessian, well, chucked in these hessian bags. After they've been dug up out the field now. But the reason I'm kind of happy to have a little repot of these now and do what we can with those roots is it's absolutely full of buds. This has been outside as well, it hasn't been in this greenhouse, so it's naturally moving with spring, and it's showing me that we can maybe do something with it now. Just want to try and find if this starts flaring out anywhere. If I can find enough up the top here and we're happy with it, I might just put the saw through the bottom. Well, there's a big natural hollow on this side, I'll show you in a second. Just created by where the roots have kind of forked down, but it might be something we can use because they look like they flatten out a little bit after that. So in terms of it looking quite good in a pot, maybe we might get away with that as more of a feature. At least it lends itself to being planted on a little bit of an angle as well, so we might have to adjust a few branches as time goes on, but once it's kind of secured in the pot, maybe we could just guide wire them down a little bit. Tease out a few of these. Maybe then we'll proceed to cut through this, because I think it's got a hell of a lot going on up the top there, so we'll cut halfway through there. We're just going to run a saw through the bottom there now, around halfway, just to see where we're at. Maybe we'll clean it up by hand, but I think we can just cut a bit of time there. It's quite dense with fine roots. Now obviously I'm doing this after I've wired it and everything, which is a bit backwards, but I think we can still get a good angle on that. So we'll just give this a quick go with an old wood saw. We've not actually took nothing too big off there. Start with, that's good. I think we'll clean back a little bit further again. See what we've got in there now. Just cut a few of those bigger ones back and just cut with a saw. We'll just have a final adjustment up at the top here. I want this to kind of roll down a little bit, so any of these new roots become part of a kind of buttressing Nebari. So whether it's a possibility on this one to scrape some of that down there and then sit some moss in there and maybe try and pull some roots out. Could be another way of handling that. If anyone's got experience with yew trees and improving the Nebari on something like this, if they've got any suggestions, I'm more than willing to hear those and maybe have a go. It seems a shame just to layer that off and waste what's there, so if we can improve what's here in any way. Say there's one root there, not much else in there, so. I dare say as well, maybe you could put a little yew tree through there with some decent roots. Maybe make that look like that fused in there if you grew it on. That could maybe be an option to get something there. And again there, if that goes all the way through, which it does, maybe again we could carefully place a yew tree in there and do something. So maybe this will be a really good experiment. And this is going to be a long time before it's finished as well, so if things like that did work, because the air layer that might work there on half of it, it might just reject it because it's got good roots. Again, maybe an experiment. There's a few little nodules there that were just sticking up. I can see we've had plenty of new roots from that area, so again, anything chunky that's sticking up, we'll try and knock it back and get it out of the way a little bit, and then the roots will hopefully mesh together as they come. That's looking quite nice, that part. It really is a shame there, because that side's pretty cool. We can clearly see now where we need to wire them slightly thicker ones out of the way for now. I'm happy to leave that there. We'll just get prepared for potting it up now and clean this mess up, and I'll show you that in a second. Right, so I said I'd been done with it, but I've actually fiddled further. I just can't resist, it seems. Sometimes it'll be my downfall, I know, but you know, like again, I want to try and get somewhere without killing the tree, obviously, but you know, without taking too much time without getting there either. So we've straightened out what we can of that. Actually looks all right. There's nothing here on this side. I had a look. It was just some big roots going over, so we took them out for now. I'm going to wire down these odd little flappy bits you see in the way. But there's a few little things in here, and like I say, because of these hollows, maybe we'll be able to tuck some things in there, kind of bulk them up and then chop them back, and maybe we'll be able to encourage some roots that way. If it doesn't throw some itself, you know, when this does recover, I might go back in there and just scrape down lower and just put some sphagnum moss in there as a little trial and see if it works. And then if that did work, push it up a little bit further. But I think we'll be able to have a bit of an angle out of it and then amend the branches where need be. And like I said, I never really decided whether we'd keep two of them chunkier leaders there. You know, one of them seems a bit too long. Maybe they should be different heights. Or maybe even in the end, we'll even bring this one down and start again. But it really was just an experiment, playing around with some nursery stock and see what we could get, and you know, it looked quite effective really. So, right, let's pop that up then. So I've got this old terracotta kind of pot. I'm going to use it as a training pot. It doesn't have the benefit of extra holes to wire in, so we're maybe going to have to try and pull some wire over it. You can't really even get anything on that lip there, so I do want to try and hold this in there a little bit if we can. I've just got some broken crops in there, just to aid a little bit more drainage. I don't want this just growing loads of roots down the bottom there either, so we can take up a little bit of that room with that. And being terracotta as well, it will kind of aid with the kind of getting the watering right. Mix wise for the soil, we're just going to use some of what was it was already in, because it was just lovely. It just seemed a little bit heavy. Now we've kind of disturbed it and we'll put it in. If you watered that, I believe it will just kind of go solid. So we're going to use a bit of that really quite sandy, loamy stuff. I've just got some more grit there that I'm going to put in as good measure, some sharp sand there as well, and then just some compost, you know, as a little bit of organic matter to kind of feed it up a little bit, I guess. And we'll see how we get on with that. Again, it's really just trying to train the roots a little bit now. Just see how we want to have it before we put any more soil in there. I think it definitely leans itself to being planted on the angle and making the most of those roots then. So we can then concentrate on sorting out the back at a later date. Now if we can, we'll just lift up that first kind of layer. Just want to make sure that we're getting it under those cavities there. So, although we've reduced the plane of those roots quite a bit, there's still little layers of roots. If you can find between them a little bit. This one's going to require a little bit of chopsticking because of how many fine roots there are. Double check at this point, we're happy with the angle again. And it's looking fairly central in the pot. And after that bottom row, down and out the way, and then we can concentrate on this top row. I don't know if you can see from the angle at the moment, but actually in this pot and at the angle we planted it, alright, we haven't got roots at the back there, but doesn't that look quite cool? Yeah, it looks quite ancient there. So I feel the mystery has revealed itself and it's kind of gone in our favour a little bit. You see from my previous video with those white pines, you know, you never know what you're up against with this nursery stock kind of garden centre stuff, but like I say, for the price of it, sometimes it's worth having a little play and you can get something half decent. See how well that's spread, and I've even managed to get a little piece of root from over there to come from there. And again, with these ones, we'll wire this one out the way, we'll wire that one down and across there. So we'll build a little bit of what we can there. You know, it's not going to be a perfect Nebari, but like I say earlier, this was in a hessian bag, a complete mystery. So what I might have to do is just find something to weight that side of it down. There we go. Now I'm not sure how well this is going to work, so bear with me. And if there was holes in the bottom of the pot, it'd be a lot easier, I guess. But I didn't want to drill this out today, just in case I broke the pot. If I had a couple of them, I probably would have had a go. So I'm just going to line that up best I can central there. Going to use a little piece of this electrical sleeving again. Haven't got no brown with me today, so we're going to have this lovely splash of blue at the bottom of this. Cool, now we just scraped enough of that trunk in there, that's nice. We'll keep a close eye on this because, like I said, we got the wire on there already, so we're not going to be spared from not checking in on this tree anyway, so this is irrelevant having to worry about a little piece of wire around the side. So for now it's fairly sturdy in there. I wouldn't go adjusting these around too much. Get them kind of where they sit happy, and if I had to I could pull a wire across there and the other way just to pin them together. The pot was awkward, that's all I can say about that. So we've secured it best we can in the pot. You know, that's not the best wiring kind of to hold it in, but it's holding it still for now. So like I say, I intend on keeping this in a sheltered position and not moving it around. So now really I just want to wire down anything else that we've got here that could be put into a nice position now. You see, like that nice easy one. There's another one there. Just want to bring that down, and then as we get new roots off it, this one here we can hold down and out the way as well. That little tuft. Just then they'll head the right way, and then I can readjust them next time, and I won't have to do so much work hopefully because they'll be angled down. Again, that one there, you see, we can pin that one down. It's a little bit springy under there still, we might have to make a longer clip, go a little bit higher. And then just that one at the back there that we're trying to encourage over again to fill that kind of void at the back there. There we go. Just chopstick them final ends down there. Just around the edges, I just want to make sure they're out the way. A little bit there. I want to mound it up as far as we can, just so then if we can encourage any more without drastic action, we will, because I'm sure it's going to respond to growing some new roots. I'm not going to poke around because we've gone to all that effort of securing those roots, and I know there's good soil in there already. So. And really, I'm not going to do anything else to this. We could bend these branches around a little bit further and try and adjust it, but just when we put it in the pot for now, we'll leave it alone. They're not going to become unmanageable in the next few months. And nor are we probably going to use all of them now. We've changed the planting angle a little bit, things will change. But it was earlier on in the year when I moulded this around in the house and we styled it, so now the weather's improved, we can finally put it up and then get it on the next journey, as it were. So let's give it a little water in now, make sure we've got all them voids there. That will probably do there, that will find its way down and spread out in the pot. There you go. We'll park that up and come back to that in a few months, and maybe we'll be able to do a little bit more bending around, maybe adjust these leaders, see what we're going to do. We'll have a little bit more of a think about it now it's on the angle, and yeah, just bend around the branches a little bit further, and hopefully there'll be some clipping back to do, and maybe some of these finer branches will be able to wire into some kind of position. Really now though, just want to let it settle down. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and if you've been following along since we started this one, please come back and see how we get on with it. Thank you.